I like the idea of like the multi-perspectival approach to teaching, thinking of different ways to teach things and then to approach it from a point of compassion. I'm curious, how do you do that in larger class sizes? So like in the elementary space, my class sizes were up to 35 kids, which that's manageable. But I saw a few hundred a week because I had several different classes and whatnot. So whether it's that kind of a context or you're teaching like a lecture with like 300 people, how do you include all these different perspectives and like try and be compassionate with students?
So it's funny you asked that because that was the question that was asked during my interview at Duke. and it was like, yeah, what's your biggest class size? And I said, oh, it's about 40 or 50. And they're like, yeah, our largest is about 400. It's interesting because I think you have to assemble a great team, right? And I'm going to say it in two spaces. The first is where you have the ability to assemble a team of other people who can assist, right? So TAs, teaching assistants, any other graders, whatever it is, understanding that that team is operating from that same mindset. Like we all understand that this can be a lot for us. So we need to remember it's a lot for the students. We need to move accordingly. We need to make sure that we are attentive to any flags or things that may be concerning about a certain set of students or one or two students. But if you're in a space where you don't have the resources of a TA or any assistance, I found that the ability to just collect the information a lot of times is helpful. Even if it's a simple Google form or a Qualtrics form, and it just asks an open-ended question, how are you doing? Just somebody asking how you're doing, and then students can submit, and then you can review it and start to itemize, like who needs more attention right now? Who's going through something right now that I need to pay attention to or flag? For me, it became overwhelming even when my classes were about 30 or 40, because I may have been teaching, like you said, over the course of like 150 students across 4 classes, and it's just me. And so the easiest way for me a lot of times was just to create those forms and let students dump. And it may be, every so often, like I just throw it out there every month or every couple of weeks, like what's going on. That's going to be critical, especially as we move forward post 2020, because we have to rethink how we do everything and how we engage with students. I think that we have to rethink not just how we engage with them, but how we teach them, and how we engage with them should influence and impact how we teach them. It's easy when you're in front of a classroom and you're on a board and you're writing something and you turn around, okay, any questions, any comments, any concerns? You'll get 1 or 2 and then boom, you're back to what you're doing. But now in the age of Zoom, it doesn't work the same. And there's so many other things that are going on in a student's mind and even in their background, right? We still have arguments about why people are forcing students to turn on their videos. No matter what the course size is, I think you just have to take the time to be intentional. And there are ways to do that can make it as least stressful as possible and strenuous as possible for you, which is why I say a lot of times that's where the beauty of technology comes into place, because you can automate that, send it out. But then you can filter that information pretty quickly and start to review that and look at how can I reach those students who need me the most, but then still also let every other student know, hey, I see you.
This excerpt of the CSK8 podcast is from episode number 55, which is titled Nicki Washington is Unapologetically Dope. You can listen to the full episode as well as hundreds more by searching for the CSK8 podcast or by going to jaredoleary.com.